Welcome everybody. We are busy with lesson 4 of the term 4 preparation to ensure that we are prepared for the November examinations for our grade 8 learners. So we're going to look at 1.3 now. We've done 1.1 and 1.2. So 1.3, we need to find the LCM of 70 as well as 90. And we need to use the product of the prime factors of these ones. So we'll start with 70 quickly. So it's 70 divided by 2 equals 35. 35 divided by 5 equals 7. 7 divided by 7 equals 1. So over here, if you took a bit of time with that, you need to learn your 2, 5 and 7 times table over there. So it's important to know your tables really well when it comes to these ones. 90 divided by 2 equals 45. 45 divided by 3 in this case. 45 divided by 3 will give you 15. It's a bit of a tricky one, so let's work that out. 45 divided by 3, 4 divided by 3 is 1, and you're left with 1 over there. 15 divided by 3 gives you 5. So 45 divided by 3 equals 15. 15 divided by 3 equals 5. 5 divided by 5 equals 1. So over here we'll now see that when it comes to 70, we've got 2 multiplied by 5 multiplied by 7. I'm leaving a space there because I see we've got a 3 over there. Here we've got 2 multiplied by 3 squared multiplied by 5. So to find the LCM, we must take the 2, we must take the 3 squared, we have to take the 5, and we have to take the 7. So in this case it's basically 2 times 9, and we know that 2 times 9 equals 18. And it's 18 multiplied by 35. So let's see if we can just use the space over here to quickly do this multiplication sum. Right, so 5 times, it's 18 times 35, so 5 times 8, what does that give us? 40. Then 5 times 1 is 5. 5 plus 4 is 9. Put a 0 there. 3 times 8, that gives us 8, 16, 24. Put a 2 over there. So 3 times 1 is 3, plus 2 is 5. And then what we do is we add this up. It's a 0. That's 13. Carry the 1, and that gives us 6. So our LCM in this case is 630. Trying to get the tick going. There we go, 630. Right, so let's try and do the last two sums. So if you're happy with that, you can move forward. If not, you can pause it and just work through the sum again. Right, so let's have a look at 1.4 and 1.5. We should be able to finish this now. So if we have a look at not 1.4, it's actually 2.1. Apologies for that. So 2.1, we've got the square root of 120. So we want to find out what is the square root of 120 using the product of its prime factors. So once again, we're going to use the ladder method. So we've got 120 divided by 2 equals 60. 60 divided by 2 equals 30. 30 divided by 2 equals 15. We can't divide by 2 anymore, but we can divide by 3. That gives us 5. 5 divided by 5 equals 1. We want to get to 1. Right, so if we have a look at the square root of 120 now, the square root of 120 is equal to 2 squared. 2 times 2 is 2 squared. Actually 2 cubed. 2 cubed multiplied by 3 multiplied by 5. Okay. So this is a bit of a funny one. So what we're going to have to do here is we're going to have to break this up further and say this is equal to 2 there's a couple of ways we can go here. I'm going to go this particular route where I'm breaking this 3 up into 2 to the power of 1 and 2 to the power of 2. We always try to get it in terms of even numbers if we're working with square roots, or even numbers over here, there's invisible 2 over here, times by 3 times by 5. So if we take this further, we can break it up. Remember that law that we learned earlier? So I'm taking the square root of 2 squared first, multiplied by, and I'm keeping all of these together to see if there's anything else we can do. So it's 2 times 3, which is 6. Yeah, there's nowhere else I can go here really. So this is just going to be the square root of, I'm going to have to multiply these 3 together. So it's 15 times 3, which is 30. So my answer here is basically going to be 2 square root 30. Okay, because what I did was I said, okay, I can kind of get rid of the square root here, because that's a 2 divided by 2, so that's a 1 there. So the square root of 2 squared is equal to just 2, or the square root of 4, because 2 squared is equal to 4, so the square root of 4 equals 2, and then the square root of 30, there's no solution for that unless you're dealing with decimals and so on, so in this case this answer here would be acceptable. Right, let's have a look at, so that's basically the answer for 2.1. Let's have a look at 2.2. So the square root of 36, we know that the answer is 6. For those of you that guessed that, you're correct. But we're going to try to find that answer using the product of its prime factors. So 36 divided by, once again, we start by 2. 36 divided by 2 equals 18. 18 divided by 2 equals 9. 9 divided by 3 equals 3. 3 divided by 3 equals 1. So what I've got here is the square root of 36 now is equal to 2 squared multiplied by 3 squared. So if you're going to get a sum, it's much likely to be this one and not 2.1, unless you're in a difficult grade, or the teacher wants to assess some of the higher order type questions. So what we're going to do here is you're going to have the square root of 2 squared multiplied by the square root of 3 squared. Remember, we're allowed to break that up according to this law. The square root of a multiplied by the square root of b. So my final answer here will be 2 multiplied by 3, which is equal to 6, which we know is the correct answer. Okay, great stuff, guys. So we're basically done with that exercise. So we'll move on to, so this first couple of exercises would help us with the first 2 questions of our paper. So we're going to move on to our next question as we move forward with our exam preparation.